Welcome to Spectrum News within the week. I am Emedion from Uyo. Let's take a look at today's headlines. President Tinubu lifts emergency rule in Rivers State as Fubara resumes today. Governor Moino expresses delight over exploits of Akwa Ibom indigents in diaspora. Trump-Starmer signs groundbreaking tech partnership. We'll bring you details of the stories and more in just a moment. Many thanks for staying tuned. We begin from a national scene where President Bola Tinubu has expressed deep condolences to the families of victims and to the management and staff of the Federal Inland Revenue Service and United Bank for Africa following Tuesday's fire outbreak at Afriland Building on Board Street, Lagos Island. Reports say that 7 victims have been confirmed dead after the fire incident at the tower. The victims were said to have died in hospitals across the state, where they had been rushed to after being evacuated from the high-rise buildings. Among the victims are 4 staff members of FIRS, which occupies the 6th and 7th floors of the towers. In a statement signed by Bayo Nanuga, the President's Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Tinubu commiserated with Afriland Properties Limited, FIRS and UBA over the loss of lives. He extended sympathy to those injured who are receiving medical attention. In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu has congratulated the Managing Director of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, Olubunmi Kuku, on her election as Vice President of Airport Council International, Africa. Tinubu conveyed his congratulations through a statement signed by his Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Nanuga, titled, President Tinubu congratulates FAAN Managing Director Olubunmi Kuku on her election as Vice President of ACI Africa. Kuku's election was ratified during the 34th ACI African General Assembly held in Lusaka, Zambia, from September 13, 2025. Tinubu praised fans' efforts in raising Nigeria's aviation standard which he said has attracted international recognition. Still on the national scene, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu within the week traveled to Kaduna State for a brief official visit. According to a statement by his special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, the president attended the wedding of Nasiruddin Yari and Safiya Shegun Idris. Nasiruddin is the son of the Senator Abdulaziz Yari, who represents Zamfara West in the National Assembly. While in Kaduna, Tinubu also paid a courtesy visit to Aisha, widow of the late former President Muhammadu Buhari, at a family residence in the state's capital. Meanwhile, the president is expected to return to Abuja the same day after the engagement. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has announced the suspension of emergency rule in Rivers State. Tinubu, who announced this in a statement he signed, explained that from the intelligence available to him, there was a new spirit of understanding, readiness and potent enthusiasm on the part of all stakeholders in Rivers State for an immediate return to democratic governance. This, he said, was a welcome development for him and a remarkable achievement for the country, noting that the Governor Siminalayi Fubara, the Deputy Governor Ngozi Nam Odum, members of the Rivers State House of Assembly, and the Speaker Martins Amawule will resume work this week. The President commended the National Assembly for taking steps immediately as required by the Constitutions to approve the declarations in the interest of peace and order in Rivers State after critically evaluating the justification for the proclamation. In a related development, Minister of the Federal Capital Territory (FCT) Nyesom Wike has hailed President Bola Tinubu for restoring democratic governance to Rivers by lifting the emergency rule imposed on the state. Wike, who said the president has once again demonstrated total commitment to peace and sustenance of democracy in the country. He also added that the proactive action saved Rivers State from crisis. In a statement by his Senior Special Assistant SSA on Public Communications and Social Media, Lare Olanyinka, the FCT minister said the president's intervention has further restored the confidence of the people of Rivers State in his leadership. He commended the people of the state for their belief in the president and continued support for him in his timeless efforts to return the country to a path of progress and development. He further called on all stakeholders in the state to work together harmoniously in the collective interest of the state and its people. In the meantime, the Rivers State House of Assembly has resumed plenary session after a 6-month state of emergency imposed on the state by Recall that President Bola Tinubu had lifted the emergency rule on September 17, with the governor of the state, Siminalayi Fubara, his deputy Ngozi Odum, and members of the State Assembly asked to resume duties on September 18th. The plenary is being presided by the Speaker of the House, Martins Amawule, at a conference hall located within the legislative quarters in Port Harcourt, the state capital. The conference hall has served as lawmakers' temporary chamber since the official chamber at the Assembly Complex on Moscow Road was touched and later pulled down by the state government. Away from that, the federal government has reintroduced Nigeria history as a compulsory subject in the basic education curriculum to strengthen national identity, unity, patriotism, and responsible citizenship. The Federal Ministry of Education announced the introduction in a statement on its official X account on Wednesday. According to the Ministry of Education, this reform is a priceless gift to the nation, reconnecting children with their roots while inspiring pride, unity and commitment to national development. Meanwhile, the ministry has released a revised curriculum and will return teachers, provide resources and strengthen monitoring. On pension matters, pensioners of the Federal Civil Service in the Nigerian Union of Pensioners within the week said it may protest non-implementation of the 32,000 naira increase on their pension on October the 1st. According to the pensioners, they said that the 70,000 naira minimum wage has been implemented, but they have been derived of the increase. In a statement in Abuja, National President Frederick Egwaba said, despite approval of 58 billion naira for the increase, Federal Ministry of Finance and Office of Accountant General of the Federation are yet to comply. Egwaba stressed that the union's officials are demanding release of the 58 billion naira approved by the President to ensure compliance and implementation of the increase and payment of 7 to 8 month arrears owed to them. He also added that they are giving government 2 weeks to meet their demands or they will protest. Meanwhile, the federal government has disbursed 330 billion naira directly to households under its social protection program. This was disclosed during a press briefing in Abuja within the week by the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, stating that the initiative is designed to cushion the impact of recent economic reforms on poor and vulnerable Nigerians, with payment made in 3 tranches of 25,000 naira per household. He explained that the target is to reach 15 million households, with each household receiving 25,000 naira in 3 tranches. Edun also confirmed that the program will be institutionalized and captured in the nation's annual budget, noting that the move is to ensure continuity, transparency and accountability in the government support to the most vulnerable Nigerians. Also, the federal government says it has strategized to further reduce the occurrence of accidents on the roads across the country. The Minister of Transportation, Alhaji Saudi Alkali, stated this when he received a committee to address critical road safety in the country in Abuja. Reports say that the committee is made up of relevant stakeholders to develop mandatory training and certification programs for trailers and tanker drivers. Meanwhile, Alkali, who was represented by Alhaji Musa Ibrahim, the director overseeing the office of the permanent secretary in the ministry, said, realizing the aim would improve safety and security to enhance the nation's integrity. To the legislative arms, where the National Assembly has called for the withdrawal of all circular previously issued for contract awards under the 2025 fiscal year. This comes as the implementation of the 23.9 trillion naira capital component of the 2025 budget is set to commence soon and is expected to extend into 2026. The resolutions were read during a meeting within the week between the Joint Committee on Appropriations and President's Economic Team at the National Assembly. In attendance were the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Senator Atiku Bagudu, Director General of the Budget Office, Tanimu Yakubu, and the Accountant General of the Federation, Shamsuddin Ogunjimi. The session was convened to review the performance of the 2024 budget and assess the implementation of the 54.9 trillion naira 2025 budget. Chairman of the House Committee on Appropriations, Abubakar Bichi, said the Ministry of Finance circular stopping MDAs from awarding contracts until an authority to inquire expenditure AIA is issued will be cancelled. He also added that the 2025 budget implementation would begin immediately with an authority to inquire expenditure which will be issued within 7 days. Meanwhile, the lawmakers also extended the implementation period of the 2024 budget to December 2025, a resolution adopted by the Joint Committee chaired by Senator Adiola Olamilekong. In the meantime, the Senate Committee on Federal Capital Territory Area Council and ancillary matters within the week appealed to the members of the National Association of Resident Doctors (NARD) FCT chapter to immediately suspend their ongoing strike. The committee also pledged to engage urgently with the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, in order to address the doctors' demands and find a resolution. At the emergency meeting, the committee led by Chairman Senator David Jimkuta Taraba South met with the leadership of the striking doctors. The senators assured them that their concerns were receiving attention and promised to escalate the matter directly to the FCT minister. Senator Jimkuta acknowledged the devastating impact the strike is having on healthcare delivery in the territory and pleaded with the doctors to resume work while talks continues. On electoral matters, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has reiterated its commitment to inclusive democracy with a strong emphasis on increasing women's participation in politics and party leadership. The declaration was made by INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu during an advocacy visit in Abuja. Yakubu stressed that INEC operates as an equal opportunity institution, noting that more than half of the Commission's departmental leadership is held by women. Highlighting the institutional framework to supporting gender inclusion, the INEC board revealed that the Commission has a dedicated Department of Gender and Inclusivity and a gender policy that is regularly updated. He further urged political parties to engage more on the importance of promoting women within their leadership structures. Back here, Akwa Ibom State government within the week invited applications for contract appointment from highly skilled and willing experts for engagement as medical consultants, specialists, medical officers, medical laboratory scientists, pharmacists, and nurses. The release was signed by the head of the civil service, Eldai Fiongisien, saying that qualified medical and health experts in the above listed fields were retired from active service effective 1st January 2015 till date, but with interest to work on contract appointment are requested to submit application to the chairman of Akwa Ibom State Civil Service Commission, Idon Sankar Secretariat within 2 weeks from today. According to the release, the contract appointment opportunity aligns with Governor Moino's declaration of a state of emergency in the state health sector and in line with the RISE agenda on health sector management, aimed at facilitating policy intervention to bolster healthcare service delivery in Akwa Ibom State. In the meantime, Akwa Ibom State Governor Basum Moino within the week declared open the Akwa Ibom Electricity Summit 2025, describing it as a major turning point in the state's quest for energy security and unlimited access to power. According to him, the time has come for someone to take a critical decision to make things work in the state power sector by asking the right questions and getting the right answers. He also stressed that it is a task he is fully ready to tackle. Speaking at 4 Points by Sheraton Hotel, Ikodegbene, Governor Enos said The summit, themed Attending Energy Security and Universal Access for Akwa Ibom State, within the framework of the Nigerian electricity supply industry, must move beyond being another talk shop to producing a practical roadmap with timelines, clear responsibility, and measurable outcomes. Let's take a listen.
To my mind, today marks a major turning point for Akwa Ibom State in the area of electricity. For decades, our people have lived with the paradox of great energy potential but could not fully appropriate the gift. We are blessed with abundance of gas, a state-owned power plant, yet too many of our homes, businesses, schools, and hospitals are grappling with epileptic power supply. The question then becomes, why is our state-owned Ibom Power, which has an installed capacity of 191 megawatts, not working optimally for the benefit of our people since it was established in 2001? What clear paths can we adopt to make it work despite the huge resources that have been sunk into its operation, of which we today are still repaying the Afri-Exim Bank loan of $9 million? What do we need to do to get our IPC working to the benefit of our people? These are very hard questions, and we will dare to tread on grounds that angels fear to tread on in this summit. The hard questions must be asked, answers must be proffered, actions must be taken, because if we don't, then this workshop would have gathered the key players in this industry from the length and breadth of this country for nothing. The time has come that someone should step out there and take the decision to make this work. I dare say, by the grace of God and the mandate of Akwa Ibom people, I will take that decision.
Welcome address. The Deputy Governor and Chairperson of the Summit Organizing Committee, Senator Akon Eyayin, described the gathering as a historic moment, not only for Akwa Ibom State, but for Nigeria as a whole. She noted that with the passage of the Electricity Act 2023 and the State-Owned Electricity Law 2025, Akwa Ibom had the foundation to chart its own electricity market. She further urged participants, regulators, investors, development partners, and community leaders to approach discussions with seriousness and focus, with the ultimate goal of producing a state electricity sector action program to guide implementation. Let's take a listen.
It gives me great pleasure on behalf of my performing governor, His Excellency Pastor Umar Basieno, PhD, to welcome you to this historic gathering. The Akwa Ibom State Electricity Summit 2025. This summit is convened at a defining moment with the passage of the Electricity Act 2023 and the fifth constitutional alteration. Nigeria has empowered states to take charge of their electricity destinies. Akwa Ibom State has seized this opportunity. The Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly had passed the Akwa Ibom State Electricity Bill, and the governor of Akwa Ibom State, His Excellency Pastor Moino, had assented to the Electricity Law 2025. These instruments now provide the foundation for us to establish our own electricity market designed to serve the needs of our people, attract private investments, and ensure that every household and enterprise
This goodwill message, the Minister of Power, represented by his Chief Technical Advisor, Adenoyin Oluwaneyi, lauded Governor Eno for taking a bold step towards energy reform, noting that the summit is timely and significant. Other goodwill messages also came from the Speaker of the House of Representatives, who was represented by Victor Nwokolo, Chairman House Committee on Power, representative of the governors of Enugu, Abia, Cross River and Bayelsa State, where they all praised Akwa Ibom for setting a precedent that would benefit other states. Government House correspondent Jen Owa reports that the hard point of the event was the official unveiling of the state electricity regulatory policy and the Akwa Ibom State Electricity Law, jointly performed by Governor Eno, Deputy Governor Eyanyin, representatives of the House of the Speaker of the House of Representatives, the Minister of Powers representative, and other dignitaries. Still to come in the news. Federal government to issue 758 billion naira bond to clear pension liabilities. Do stay joined to us for this and many more right after the breather. Many thanks for staying tuned. This is Spectrum News within the week. We move now to Africa, where a top police official within the week claimed that South Africa's police and justice system has been infiltrated by criminal syndicate that took the stand at the government backdrop into the allegations. Recall that KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nalanhel Makwanasi said at a news conference in July that some top politicians and police officials were interfering in the sensitive police investigations in the interest of criminal syndicates and drug cartels. His claims caused a public outcry and led to the Commission of Inquiry being appointed by President Cyril Ramaphosa. During his opening statement yesterday, Makwanasi said he would show the extent of the threat to the country's criminal justice system. Still in Africa, Guinea's capital boasts with activities as campaigning closed within the week ahead of a referendum that would let the coup leader seek the presidency. Reports say the citizens of the coastal West African country will cast their ballot on Sunday on a draft constitution, the key step in the transition from military to civilian rule. According to the report, no campaigning is allowed on Friday and Saturday, and a presidential election is expected to follow in December. On the foreign scene, US President Donald Trump and British Prime Minister Keir Starmer during the week formally signed a tech partnership to strengthen cooperation in artificial intelligence, quantum computing and nuclear energy. Trump's visit has delivered pledges from mostly US tech giants and financial groups to invest a combined £150 billion in Britain over several years. Still on the foreign scene, Emmanuel Macron and his wife Brigitte are planning to present photography and scientific evidence to a US court to prove Brigitte Macron is a woman. The lawyer says the French president and Brigitte will present the documentation in a defamation suit they have taken against the right-wing influencer Candace Owens after she promoted belief that Brigitte Macron was born male. Meanwhile, Owens' lawyers have responded with a motion to dismiss the claim. Reports say the Macron's lawyers in the case, Tom Clare, said Brigitte Macron had found the claims incredibly upsetting and there were the distraction to the French president. Elsewhere, Britain has returned the first migrant to France under a new one-in-one out deal. Both governments confirm as London bids to curb highly contagious cross-channel small boat arrivals. The French government also confirmed the removal with a source, their telereporters, that an Indian national had been deported from Britain. UK ministry called the move another major step in the governor's action to dismantle the criminal network organizing the perilous channel journeys and profiting from human miseries. In return, London will accept an equal number of migrants from France who can apply for a UK visa via an online platform under the pilot scheme, which came into force in August and is set to run June 2026. On a business news, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) has congratulated Maryam Idris on her appointment as Nigeria's national representative to the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries (OPEC). Announcing the development in an official statement on its X handle, NNPC said Idris' new role marks a pivotal step in representing Nigeria's interests within the influential cartel of oil-producing nations. NNPC added that her appointment is expected to strengthen Nigeria's voice on production quotas, rising stability and sustainable energy policies amid volatile global oil dynamics. Still in business, Nigeria's crude oil production within the week fell again in August, reversing gains that had pushed the country above its OPEC quota for 2 consecutive months. This was against the backdrop of basking in the euphoria of the increased oil output achieved in July. Figures from the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries (OPEC) showed that Nigeria pumped an average of 1.43 million barrels of crude per day in August, down from 1.507 million barrels of crude per day in July and 1.505 million barrels of crude per day in June. The decline means Nigeria fell about 66,000 barrels per day short of its expected quota of 1.5 million barrels of crude per day in August. This comes after exceeding the target in both June and July, when production stood slightly above quota levels. Elsewhere, The Dangote Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemicals Limited have suspended self-collection tertiary sales of petroleum products at its facilities with effect from Thursday, September 18, 2025. This was contained in a mail correspondence obtained by his men on Friday, which was signed by the Group Commercial Operations Department of the company. The directive aims to promote a wider adoption of refineries' free delivery scheme for retail outlets and to hold sales on registered marketers, whether they buy directly from its depot or indirectly through other marketers. Dangote explained that the move was an operational adjustment aimed at improving efficiency. The company urged marketers to adopt its free delivery scheme, which provides direct shipment to retail outlets. It also warned that any payments made after the effective date would be rejected. Finally, in business, the National Pension Commission within the week disclosed that the federal government may issue a 758 million naira bond before the first week of October to clear outstanding pension liabilities. Speaking at the press briefing in Abuja, the Director of Contribution and Bond Redemption Department at PENCOM, Usman Musa, explained that the process has already begun and was moving quickly following the approvals of the Federal Executive Council and the National Assembly. In her address, the Director General of PENCOM, Omolola Olowowaran, said the inauguration of the Pension Industry Leadership Council marked a historic milestone for the pensions industry. She explained that the council was designed to provide collective leadership and coordination similar to the Bankers Committee in the financial system. We'll take a quick break right now. When we return, President Bola Tinubu says Nigeria is willing to host Commonwealth Games. Do stay joined to us for these and many more right after the break. Many thanks for staying tuned. We move now to a health news where Edo State Deputy Governor Dennis Idahosa has called on the Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists of Nigeria to leverage research and scientific findings to advance public health, including the establishment of a vaccine manufacturing company in the state. Idahosa made the remarks while receiving the Edo State chapter of AMLSN at his office in Benin, acting on behalf of Governor Monday Okpobolo. He commended the scientists for their contributions to medical interventions that have strengthened the state health sector. It also therefore assured the group that the government would work closely with health sectors, think tanks, to address pressing challenges. Still in health, the World Health Organization (WHO) has commended Nigeria, China, Egypt, Russia, Brazil, and Denmark for reducing the mortality rate in non-communicable diseases for their citizens. The biggest gains were driven by declines in cardiovascular disease and certain cancers such as stomach and colorectal cancers for both sexes, cervical and breast cancers for women, and lungs and prostate cancers for men. In contrast, pancreatic, liver cancers, and neurological conditions contributed to rising mortalities in many countries. WHO, in a report Saving Lives, Spending Less, revealed that an additional investment of just $3 per person annually in tackling NCDs would yield economic benefits of up to $1 trillion by 2030. The UN Health Agency, however, called on member states to invest more in cost-effective solutions to manage NCDC and mental health. Let's move now to sports where the Federation of International Football Association (FIFA) has opened disciplinary proceedings against the South African Football Association (SAFA) for failing an eligible player in their 2026 World Cup qualifier against Lesotho. Bafana won the matchday 5 encounter against the Crocodiles 2-0 on 21 March 2025 in Polokwane. South Africa fielded an eligible player, Teboho Mokoena, in the encounter. Reports say the Mamelodi Sundowns midfielder had accumulated 2 yellow cards earlier in the qualifier against Benin Republic and Zimbabwe, which triggered a 1-match ban. According to SAP, FIFA confirmed that Safa and Mokoena face charges of breaching several disciplinary regulations and others. The case has been referred to the FIFA Disciplinary Committee. If found guilty, South Africa will be forced to forfeit the result of the match, which will hand Lesotho a 3-0 victory. Still in sport, former Super Falcons captain Onome Ebi has announced her retirement from professional football. Ebi announced it on her Instagram handle within the week. The 43-year-old's career spanned more than 2 decades. She is the Super Falcons' most capped player with 109 appearances. Ebi won the Women's African Cup of Nations 4 times: 2010, 2014, 2016, and 2018. The defender is also the only African footballer to have featured in 6th FIFA Women's World Cup tournament. In a related development, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has declared Nigeria's readiness to host the 2030 Commonwealth Games, pledging full government support to deliver the first ever edition of the sporting event on African soil. Speaking through his Chief of Staff, Femi Gbajamiamila, at the State House in Abuja within the week, the President assured the Commonwealth Sports Bid Evaluation Committee that Nigeria possesses the capacity, infrastructure, and political will to stage a world-class games. Tinubu told the delegations that they are ready willing, able, and actually wants this. According to him, it's been 100 years and the games have not been held on any soil in Africa. He also stressed that the Commonwealth stands for inclusivity and diversity, values which aligns with Nigeria's vision for hosting. Let's move now to entertainment, where Nigerian music icon Innocent Idibia, popularly known as Tubaba, has received a heartfelt birthday tribute from his wife, Natasha Idibia, as he marked his his 50th birthday within the week. In an Instagram post, Natasha expressed deep affection for her husband, celebrating his milestone age. Still on entertainment, American rapper Cardi B within the week confirmed that she is expecting a child with her partner Stephon Diggs. In a pre-tape interview, the rapper made the confirmation, stating that she is in a good space and excited about balancing a career while creating life. She further revealed the baby is due before her upcoming tour in February 2026. And that's all we have for you at this time. To ensure to follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News within the week. I am Emedion James. Enjoy the rest of your day and thank you for watching. Wait, you should learn this. We will know how this will end. It never ends.